I was home and outside in the woods all the time, enjoying being outside, being in the woods, climbing trees and riding them to the ground, going over and finding a vine that went across the stream and grabbing that and swinging across the water. Digging caves. Maybe building tree houses, but we were into digging caves. Having corn roasts in a corner of a farmer's field, illegally probably. We would have a corn roast, start a fire and have corn roast. Enjoyed a lot. Then we'd see the farmer way down the line, maybe coming after us, and we had to get out of there. But those are the kinds of things, experiences of being outside.
Growing up in the 1930s, Jim Price had a Pennsylvania childhood. When he wasn't in school, he was often rambling in the nearby Allegheny Mountains. Jim was born in Cooperstown, just outside of Latrobe. A short stroll down the street and he was across the fields and into the foothills of the Alleghenies.
We climbed. We did a lot of climbing up in the mountains, picking blackberries. Blackberries as big as your thumb, as long as your thumb. They would hang down, you had to know where to get them. But you always had to be careful of rattlesnakes in this particular area. And they would give you warning that you get out of there. That's why we wore leather leggings. We would take a 10-quart bucket with us and a small can tied around our neck. And off we would go about 4:15 in the morning into the mountains. And in about 3 hours, we had a 10-quart bucket full of blackberries. There were other kinds of berries also, elderberries, blueberries. But the blackberries were really sought after by a lot of people because they used to make jam out of them. Back through this way, we'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and take our 10-quart buckets with us, as well as an extra bucket around the neck. And we'd go pick back blackberries. And then we'd get 10 quarts and then walk home with them. And sometimes I would sell some of them on the way home for 10 cents a quart. I would bring the rest of them home so Mom could make blackberry pie.
Were blackberries your favorite type of berry?
Yeah, blackberries, blueberries, yep, sure.
Jim didn't have too many material comforts growing up in Cooperstown, but he did have the Allegheny Mountains in his backyard.
It was a regular thing, as well as going back in the woods for nuts. There were nut trees back through the area. We'd pick them up off the ground, and we had a sack and we'd drag them home.
What sort of nuts were they?
Well, they were the walnuts, actually. We'd take them home and put them on the top of the shed, so they would dry out. After they dried out, then we could take the hulls off and crack them open, get the nuts. And the nuts were always sought after by those who wanted to make fudge.
Jim would go on to travel the world, work across a dozen industries, create a family, become ordained, and many other achievements besides. But he will never forget those adventures in the woods so many years ago in a world very different to today.